Hi, so my name's Sarah, and I did my artist project on Jeff Koons. So, who is Jeff Koons? He was born in Pennsylvania in 1955. He went to school at the Maryland Institute of College and the School of Art in Chicago, and he got his BFA in Maryland in the 1970s. So one of my favorite series of his is the Celebrations series. His website is where he organizes his different series. I think it is one of my favorites because I find it more engaging than the others. I relate to the art in the series more than others. It is colorful and engaging to the eye. I loved balloon animals as a kid. So seeing giant balloon dogs was really fun to me. In this series, he wanted to bring back the fun of childhood, and I think he did a great job representing it. Because I've always loved his balloon dog as a kid. So, yeah. Um, like I said, his website is a great place to learn about his work. He talks about the materials used, the idea behind each work, and it is displayed in a way that is clean and easy to navigate. I had a really good time learning and looking into his different works. I personally don't like sculpting, so I really enjoyed seeing the painting of the balloon dog rather than the sculpting. Um, they are both still really fun to me. The picture on the right is an example on his website of how it's laid out. It's pretty clean and easy to read and learn. Um, so this is probably his most famous work of art, the balloon dog. The process of how he made the balloon dog sculpture, it goes into the idea and concept of his celebration series, which the balloon dog is a part of. His goal was to recreate children's activities and culture with this. It talks about the cultural impact and how it was made, and it also goes into other series very briefly, which I thought was really interesting. Um, I think this is the reason why I wanted to do Jeff Koons. I loved balloon animals as a kid, and I've always loved the sculpture. And I can relate to it a lot. I think I think it's a fun sculpture, and it really brings me back to my childhood, and because I loved balloon animals. And I think that's what he was going for in this series, and um, I just love it. I just love it a lot, and yeah. Um, I also like this one. When I was researching him, I came across the puppy, and I thought it was really unique. It's a unique piece of art. I like the plants and the greenery. It brings the puppy to life. It kind of reminds me of like the green lady in Moana. I don't know her name. Um, but I think um it really brings life to something. So like in the background you see like it's very buildingy and you know not lifelike. So I really like where he decided to put this. Um I think one of the reasons why I like it so much is I like gardening too, so I feel like this is like a funny like um look to gardening, and like I really like the flowers, and like it reminds me of a bush, and you everyone prunes bushes, so yeah, it's kind of a fun way to do it. It brings joy and lightheartedness, and I think that's what we need lately since everything sucks. And I think that's why art is most important. It's a way we can express ourselves and bring joy to others. And I think he did a really good job with this, doing that. His process to produce his work, I think his process is just as important as the actual piece. The why and how is just important, if not more. We create stuff to tell a story and share an emotion that we want to express to the world. I think how we can differ from each artist and learning his process has been interesting. Even if I don't agree or understand how he does his art, it's still important to know. Understanding that everyone has a different way of doing things is important for everyone, not just art and their process. I took a lecture art series maybe like a year ago, and they had different artists come in like each week from like different backgrounds. And I always found it interesting when they would like explain their process, because each one was very different, but they still produced great work. So that just shows that there are many different ways you can produce work and be successful. His process is he basically comes up with the idea digitally and then he works with his team to get it done. But he isn't much involved in the actual like creation process, which is where he's like kind of controversial. And I know I wouldn't want to do that for myself, but I can still like see how his work is good. So how technology has a role in his work. Jeff Koons uses technology to create his work digitally first. I do that in like Procreate and Photoshop, so I can relate to that. He comes up with the idea and then he has a team to help the idea come to life, which I thought was weird. He isn't really involved other than creating the idea digitally. I don't really like that, but I guess that's how some people work. He has other people do the actual sculpting or painting, and I don't think that is something that I would want to do if it was me, but it's not. I think that's my favorite part of art, is actually like producing it, and brings me a lot of fun. I've read a few articles like gathering people's opinions, and he's either like people really like him or they really hate him, and I think this is one of the reasons why, is how he creates his work, which is fair, I guess. Why I chose Jeff Koons. I loved his balloon dog since I can remember, so when I had an option to learn more about him, I couldn't pass it up. I really enjoyed learning more, and I hope you guys did too. Thank you.